There's something I wanted to share that kind of chaps my ass and I find deplorable with the judicial system as it is in this country. I do need to preface the story with a quick story from last year. My son graduated from high school last June of 2019, and at that point, according to the state, that he was of emancipation age. Last fall at work, I tried to remove him from my insurance, and I was told that I couldn't because I had a court order mandating that he's on my insurance. We went back and forth a little bit with Washington County, my HR people, attorneys, my ex-wife, and there was just not really a satisfactory answer that was given. So I decided to placate everyone and eat the insurance for another year, which was a cost to me at $80 a pay period. So about $160 a month I was eating for something I didn't have to do. And I'd also like to add that no one's ever used my insurance. I've been divorced 16 years, and in those 16 years, my ex-wife has never used my insurance. I was, of course, always mandated by the court system to do so, but in all those 16 years, my ex-wife never used my insurance. When at one point during an exchange with the kids when they were smaller, she stuck her head in my car and told me, "I'm just going to make sure you pay as much money out of your pocket as you can." Okay? That's the backstory. So we fast forward to the beginning of September when during a pre-production meeting, my supervisor says that the insurance is coming out, which prompted me to remember that I want to make sure I can drop my son Jonathan off my insurance. So I send a letter to Washington County saying that I would like the court order removed or dropped. So I'm able to remove that or remove my son from my insurance. About a week after I sent the letter, I received a phone call from Brady from Washington County Child Support saying that there are no active court orders open and that my case is closed. And he also stated that because your case is closed, that's an important thing because they can't close your case unless all active orders are done. All right, so he goes, there's no problem dropping the kids. Okay? Is everybody current right now? So today, I go in to do open enrollment and I try to drop my son, and a big red banner pops up and says, you have a court order and you're not allowed to change your insurance or change Jonathan or take him off my insurance. You know, but along with the pop-up was a number from HR or this HR director, whoever the hell it is I talk to, that you can, whatever, argue, protest, whatever you want to do, which I do. So she leaves me on hold, or I'm sorry, she doesn't even put me on hold. I hear heavy breathing for about 15 minutes, at which point she comes on and says, well, there's a court order from Washington County stating that you have to have insurance on your kids. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that is done. And just kept reiterating myself that it's, you know, I talked to Washington County, there's no court orders in effect anymore, round and around and around. So then she said, well, let me talk to my supervisor, put me on hold again. At that point, comes back on the line and then tells me that her supervisor says that they need a copy of the court order. And I said, you already have a copy of the court order because you're mandating that I have my son on child support or on my insurance. Hang on, she puts me back on hold. Her or talks to her supervisor again and comes back, says, well, there's a department called QMS that handles all the court-ordered stuff, and we're trying to get a hold of them, but no one's answering. Of course not. So we'll contact you back within 24 hours. So I tell them, no, you won't. Because they don't care. You know, they get bitched at all day long. Their job's a portalet. They get shit on all day long. They don't care. They just want the phone call to end. So we end the call. I immediately called Washington County Child Support. I asked to speak to Brady, who I spoke to previously, within the last week or two. And I say that, you know, that I want to speak to this guy. And then they said, well, on Wednesdays, we don't talk to people. You know, none of the agents talk to people because there's such a backlog that they're busy. You know, but I want to get this through. We'll call tomorrow. Well, I happen to work in a factory. I work more or less 5:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. at night, and it doesn't necessarily allow me a lot of time to call people all day long and catch up. You know, I can't run off the floor to call people. But everything's a time limit. You know, my open enrollment ends the 23rd of October. And everything with the court system takes 3 weeks. I'm digressing. So she's like, well, what can I help you with? I explained the situation to her. She's like, well, can I have your social security number? Let me look up your case. So, and I'm like, I already know there are no open court orders and my case is closed. So she looks it up and tells me the exact same thing. Then she's like, well, you could talk to the finance office of Washington County. And I'm like, well, give me them. Well, they don't take phone calls on Wednesdays. So I'm like, well, what do I have to do? Well, I'll send them an email, and they'll get back to you whenever it's even, whenever they can possibly do it. Which is, they were backlogged. Again, they don't care about old Bob. So, I hang up. Then a little while later, I get a call back from this one agent from this HR Direct, who then tells me that she misspoke before, that this QMS department needs a termination letter stating that the court order ended. I'm like, well, it ended. I don't think you need anything. So, she was going to transfer me to this QMS department because they don't direct calls either. So I call Washington County back and try to get to who I was talking to before, but of course no one can talk to you. I mean, Washington County office is 10 feet by 10 feet. They're like, well, we have lots of agents. They have 3. So I get them on the phone and I'm like, I need a termination letter so I can remove my son from the insurance. The lady on the phone says, well, we don't do that because in the court order, there's either an expiration date or if all the criteria has been met, that in essence terminates the court order. I'm like, well, they say they want this. So they're like, no, we don't do that because, whatever is stated in the court order, it either ends, or if the criteria are met or not, it will terminate the order. So I call this lady back from HR Direct, and I explain that to her. She tries to get a hold of the QMS people. The QMS people says, no, they need a termination letter from Washington County. I call Washington County back. Now, I also need all of you people to understand that there's Nice Bob, and then there's Asshole Bob. And we're getting to Asshole Bob level. It is so simple. Does it make sense to me that Wisconsin Child Support or Washington County Child Support says, well, it just terminates itself. Either you meet it or you don't. It expires, or you meet all the criteria, and then it's closed. That makes perfect sense to me. But at the same time, it makes perfect sense to me that HR Direct in the QMS department, again, whatever the hell that means, wants a termination letter. So I call Washington County back and say, well, can you just write me with your pretty letterhead a letter saying that the court order ended, or it's terminated, or whatever verbiage they want to stop me from paying an extra $80 a pay period that I don't have to do, that I've already been paying for a year and I just bit the bullet on. They say again that they don't do that once the court order expires or the criteria on the court order has been met. Then that in essence terminates the court order. So they see no reason why they should have to do this. So now, poor Bob here is stuck in the middle. And Washington counties are a bunch of quasi-Nazi people. They are not accommodating. They don't help you. I love this saying that the law can't help you, but it sure as hell can punish you. Washington County has done nothing but been a pain in my side. They're horrible human beings with no compassion. And here's what chaps my ass. Here comes the point of my fucking story. Is why I'm livid. When I go down to Washington County and they order a new order for something to do with my paycheck, before I even get home, I will get a phone call from my HR people saying that my paycheck is going to change because of the new order that is issued. Why can't the same fucking people who put this shit together, who can take my fucking money, whether I want it or not, impose all these rules on me, like again, take my money, put me in jail. I've sat in jail over child support. They can do all that fucking shit to me, but the exact same process can't be reversed, and over a year's span, take that quarter away. No one knows how that's out there. Well, that shouldn't be on there, right? But HR says that that court order, there's a court order from Washington County that's on our files, and there's a hold, so we can't take it off. Washington County says there is no court order and there is no hold. So nobody fucking knows what's going on. I'm getting fucked by Washington County again, in essence my ex-wife, and no one will help me. It's just this big revolving door, and it just keeps spinning around. They won't write a letter, they won't accept anything but a letter. But again, that's what pisses me off the most, is that, as soon as a court order comes out, in hours, it comes out of my check. It's already with my work that they're screwing me. So all you people out there, or you fathers out there, whatever it is, who get fucked by child support daily, hopefully someday we can fix this fucking problem with all these morons who run this system. Within 24 hours, they'll take your money, but months and months and months go by to have something taken off. That's my 2 cents.